The Los Angeles Dodgers continue to sit at the center of the baseball world, and right now the conversation around the league feels heavier than it has at any point this offseason. There is a sense that things are finally starting to move, even if no signature has officially hit the paper yet, after weeks of silence and speculation. The market around one of the biggest names available is beginning to show its true shape, and the Dodgers are very much part of that picture. For a fan base used to bold moves and aggressive timelines, this waiting game has been uncomfortable, but it is also revealing just how high the stakes really are. What stands out immediately is how unusual this situation feels compared to previous off-seasons. Normally, by this point, the dominoes have already started to fall. Instead, everything feels frozen in place, as if the entire league is holding its breath. That hesitation is not coming from a lack of interest, because interest is clearly there. It is coming from the magnitude of the decision on the table. This is not just about adding another talented bat to a lineup. This is about committing to a direction, a financial philosophy, and a competitive window that could define the next several seasons for the Dodgers. That window is wide open right now. They are built to win immediately, and they know it. The roster is stacked with elite talent. The expectations are sky high, and every season without a championship feels like a missed opportunity. That urgency naturally puts them in the conversation for any star player who could tilt the balance of power even further in their favor. But urgency does not mean recklessness, and that is where the tension begins to show. The numbers being discussed around the league are eye-opening. The idea of a massive annual salary over a short span is something the Dodgers have explored before, but the current luxury tax landscape changes the calculation entirely. Every dollar spent at the top end carries consequences far beyond the base salary, and those consequences compound quickly. It is not simply a matter of whether ownership can afford it. It is about whether the organization believes that level of financial hit aligns with their long-term strategy, especially when they already sit deep into penalty territory. That is what makes this decision so fascinating from the Dodgers' perspective. On pure talent alone, the answer feels easy. You add an elite player, you improve your chances of winning right now, and you send a message to the rest of the league. But front offices do not operate in a vacuum, and the Dodgers are among the most calculated organizations in the sport. They are constantly weighing present gains against future flexibility, and that balance is being tested more than ever here. There is also the human element that cannot be ignored. This is a player facing a crossroads, choosing between security and upside, between long-term stability and the opportunity to maximize value in the short term. From the outside, fans and analysts can debate numbers endlessly, but ultimately the decision rests on personal priorities. Health, confidence, competitive desire, and long-term vision all factor into it. That uncertainty is part of why this process has dragged on, and why no outcome feels guaranteed. For Dodgers fans, that uncertainty can be frustrating. The expectation around this team is not patience, it is action. Year after year, the organization has positioned itself as a destination for stars, a place where winning is not just a goal but an expectation. When rumors swirl and timelines stretch, it naturally raises anxiety about whether the moment might pass. But it is also worth remembering that restraint has been a key part of the Dodgers' success. They rarely make moves out of panic, even when the noise gets loud. What makes this particular situation different is how interconnected it feels with the rest of the market. So many teams appear to be waiting on the same decision, unable or unwilling to pivot until clarity emerges. That kind of logjam is rare, and it speaks to how influential this signing could be. Once it happens, everything else is likely to accelerate. Trades will make more sense. Secondary free agents will find homes, and rosters will finally start to look complete. The Dodgers understand that reality as well as anyone. They know that adding a piece of this caliber could create a ripple effect across the league, and they also know that missing out would force them to adjust expectations and explore alternatives. The challenge is that true alternatives are limited. Players of this level do not come around often, and when they do, the price is always steep in one way or another. There is also the competitive landscape of the National League to consider. Rivals are not standing still. Every move made by another contender adds pressure to respond, not emotionally, but strategically. The Dodgers are judged not just by their own standards, but by how they stack up against the best teams they are likely to face in October. Margins are thin at that level, and one addition can be the difference between another deep run and a disappointing exit. As this saga continues, It feels less like a bidding war and more like a philosophical standoff, years versus annual value, certainty versus flexibility, patience versus immediacy. The Dodgers sit right in the middle of that tension, fully capable of making a splash, but equally capable of walking away if the terms no longer make sense. That is what makes every new report feel significant, even when nothing is official yet. There is a growing sense that the end is closer than it has been at any point so far. Words like finalists and final stages are starting to surface, and that alone changes the tone of the conversation. It suggests that decisions are being weighed more seriously now, that the range of outcomes is narrowing. For fans, that does not eliminate the anxiety, but it does offer a hint of resolution on the horizon. Until that resolution comes, all eyes remain on the Dodgers and how they choose to navigate this moment. Whether they ultimately commit to a massive short-term deal or decide to preserve flexibility for the future, the choice will say a lot about where the organization believes it stands right now. It is a defining off-season moment, one that will shape expectations long before the first pitch of the season is ever thrown. As the waiting continues, the emotional swing for Dodgers fans becomes more intense with each passing day. One moment it feels like momentum is building toward a major announcement, and the next it feels like everything has stalled again. That back and forth is exhausting, but it also highlights just how complex this situation really is. This is not a negotiation driven by desperation. It is a calculated process, with both sides fully aware of their leverage and the risks involved. From the Dodgers side, the internal conversation likely goes far beyond a single player. Every contract decision at this level affects future seasons, future extensions, and future flexibility at the trade deadline. The front office has built its reputation on being proactive without being careless, and that philosophy is being tested here. A short-term deal with a massive annual value might look attractive in a vacuum, but the ripple effects could linger far longer than the length of the contract itself. That is especially true when you factor in how competitive the Dodgers expect to be year after year. This is not a team planning for a brief window before rebuild. This is an organization that believes it can contend annually if it manages its resources correctly. Locking in too much financial weight, even over a short span, could limit creativity down the line, and that matters when injuries, underperformance, or unexpected opportunities arise. At the same time, there is a clear argument for pushing the chips in right now. Championships are never guaranteed, no matter how strong a roster looks on paper. The postseason has a way of humbling even the most talented teams, and sometimes the difference comes down to one elite bat in the middle of the order. Adding that kind of presence changes how opponents pitch, how lineups are constructed, and how games are managed in October. The Dodgers know that better than anyone. What complicates things further is the contrast between short-term ambition and long-term security. From the player's perspective, betting on yourself can be incredibly rewarding, but it also carries real risk. Baseball careers can change in an instant, and even the most durable stars are one awkward swing or one bad landing away from uncertainty. That reality weighs heavily when deciding between guaranteed years and the chance to re-enter the market later. This is where the Dodgers' appeal becomes more nuanced. It is not just about money or winning. It is about environment, development, and stability. Los Angeles has proven to be a place where stars are supported, where expectations are high but infrastructure is strong. That matters when players think about maximizing performance during their prime years. The question is whether that appeal is enough to bridge the gap between different contract philosophies. Around the league, other teams are watching closely, knowing that this decision could unlock the rest of the offseason. Some front offices are likely growing impatient, eager to move forward with alternative plans. Others may be holding out hope that circumstances shift just enough to bring them back into the conversation. That tension adds pressure, but it does not necessarily speed things up when the stakes are this high for Dodgers fans. It also creates an odd sense of déjà vu. The feeling of waiting, speculating, and refreshing for updates is familiar, but the scale feels different this time. This is not a complimentary piece or a depth addition. This is a potential franchise-defining move, one that could shape the identity of the team for years. Even if the contract itself is relatively short, there is also the broader baseball calendar to consider. With international tournaments approaching and spring training on the horizon, teams want clarity. Players want to know where they will be, who they will be playing with, and how to prepare. The longer this drags on, the more awkward that transition becomes. Even for elite veterans who have been through the process before, despite all of that, there is still a sense of calm beneath the surface with the Dodgers. They are not scrambling. They are not posturing publicly. They appear content to let the process play out, confident that they will be fine regardless of the outcome. That confidence can be reassuring for fans, even if it does not make the waiting any easier. If the Dodgers do end up landing this type of player, it will be because the fit made sense on their terms, not because they felt cornered, and if they do not, it will signal a belief that their current core, combined with future flexibility, is enough to keep them in the championship conversation. Either way, the decision will reflect a long-term vision rather than a reaction to outside noise. What is undeniable is that this moment feels like a turning point. Once a decision is made, the narrative will shift quickly. Attention will move to lineups, rotations, and expectations for the upcoming season. For now, though, everything remains suspended in that uncomfortable space between possibility and reality, where rumors feel heavy and silence feels loud. As the days pass, the Dodgers remain one of the most intriguing teams in baseball, not because of what they have already done, but because of what they might still do. The balance between patience and ambition has rarely been tested this sharply, and how they handle it will resonate well beyond this offseason. There is also a growing awareness that this decision will influence how the Dodgers are viewed by players across the league in future offseasons. Every major negotiation sends a message, whether intentional or not, about how an organization values talent, risk, and timing. Players talk, agents remember, and reputations are reinforced or reshaped over moments like this. The Dodgers have long been seen as a destination that balances competitiveness with professionalism, and maintaining that image matters just as much as winning any single negotiation. From a baseball standpoint, the potential impact on the field is impossible to ignore. The lineup construction, the way opposing teams game plan, and even how younger players are protected in the order all change with the presence of another elite bat. It is not just about adding numbers to a stat sheet. It is about altering the rhythm of games and forcing opponents into uncomfortable decisions. Night after night, that kind of pressure is exactly what championship teams thrive on. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. In a move that could shake up the National League West, whispers around Major League Baseball are pointing to a sensational homecoming. Kenley Jansen may be returning to the Los Angeles Dodgers, potentially reclaiming his role as the unquestioned leader of the bullpen. While nothing has been officially confirmed by the Dodgers front office, sources close to the team suggest that talks are underway, igniting excitement among fans who remember Jansen's dominance in Dodger blue. Jansen, a veteran closer known for his devastating cutter and uncanny ability to shut down games, has been a cornerstone of the Dodgers pitching staff in years past. His previous tenure with the team saw him become a household name in Los Angeles, regularly appearing in high-pressure situations and earning accolades for his poise on the mound. The potential return is generating speculation that the Dodgers are aiming to reinforce their bullpen with both experience and leadership, signaling that they are serious about deep postseason runs. Rumors indicate that the discussions are not just about his on-field contributions, but also his role as a mentor to younger pitchers. The Dodgers' bullpen has undergone several changes, and insiders suggest that adding a familiar veteran presence like Jansen could stabilize late-inning scenarios and bring a psychological boost to the clubhouse. Fans have flooded social media with nostalgic highlights of Jansen striking out batters in crucial moments, fueling the rumor mill with excitement and hope. While analysts debate whether this move would be purely symbolic or a strategic necessity, one thing is certain: Jansen's potential return would carry significant weight. Los Angeles has always embraced players with a winning mentality, and Jansen's reputation for composure and consistency aligns perfectly with the Dodgers' culture. If the deal materializes, it could redefine the team's late-game strategy and make the bullpen a feared component once again. Whether this rumor materializes into a blockbuster announcement or remains a tantalizing what-if, the mere prospect of Kenley Jansen back in a Dodgers uniform is enough to dominate conversations across sports bars, fan forums, and broadcast studios. For now, the baseball world waits with bated breath, imagining the familiar sights and sounds of Jansen on the mound, delivering strikeouts with his signature intensity. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.